Wrestling fans, I'm Dan Mirade.
And this is the man of the hour, Leo Rush.
It was all over BostonWrestling.com and our social media. But Leo, brother, they got to check out some of this merch.
They got to.
Check it out, fans, right now, available on eBay. Support Wrestling Insiders and keep wrestling legends working on eBay. Get this limited edition Bailey autographed Rob Schamberger outprint, one of only 50 made. A great addition to the collection of any Bailey fan, direct from WWE. Also comes with a mystery autograph photo and an on-air shout-out from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas on Wrestling Insiders at your house. Get it now. Boston wrestling sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll Journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
All right, wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, welcome to MWF Studios, downtown Melrose, Massachusetts, in the zip code of Champion 02176. Temperature-wise, not so bad today, but it's a little rainy, a little dreary. But at least my enemy, Fluffy Guerrero, is not here in the studio today. Another one for you guys during the premiere to laugh at and hopefully detest as much as I do, but that's a different story for a different time. I'm Dan Mirade, along with my partner in crime, longtime Boston Wrestling MWF associate, Mr. Dave Carter, as we prepare to break down the February 26th, 2021 edition of WWE SmackDown on Fox. We got to just get a couple of cheap plugs out of the way. I have to give the happy belated birthday shout out to Farmington, New Hampshire's finest, Mr. Brandon J., who's been with us an awful long time, since almost coming out of the womb. He's very established within the organization. Also want to remind you that even though Governor Baker here in Massachusetts is loosening up restrictions a little bit more on arenas and venues, it's going to be interesting to see what that means for our MWF live wrestling events. The eBay store here in Boston Wrestling is open 24/7. It's on fire. I really appreciate the sales that have come through. Tony Atlas is going to be giving you on-air thank yous next time he is here in the studio. Again, you can find the link in the description box below. As I noted to Dave earlier today, and in a little memo to our Patreons, I am in negotiations, I guess is the best word, to try and bring in another featured superstar to join us for a series of tapings and a live episode and a cyber autograph signing, a WWE Fastlane weekend. I'm not quite sure if that's going to happen. One of the individuals I spoke with, I almost choked. Price-wise, it was probably 4 to 5 times what I expected the rate to be. So I don't know if that one's going to happen. But like I said, I got a lot of things in the works for you guys. We'll always try to have Tony, Marty, and John Cena Sr. weekly, along with all of our other podcast theme shows and flashback videos and history videos and such. But I really like the Wednesday night Wrestling Insider Special Edition because it's rotating. It's something different each and every week. This coming Wednesday night, we have the Warlord back in studio, who I thought was a really good guest, and I hope to have back with us in the future. But we're looking for a little bit of fresh blood this spring in March. April, we've discussed some things off the air, what we might be able to do on the road. May, I'm hoping to have someone back here in studio. So a lot of things happening. How you can help? Well, again, of course, there is the world famous Boston Wrestling Patreon streaming service where, for less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, you get early, ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insider in-studio shoot interview talk shows each week. You get access to the Studio Shoot Interview DVD library that's been seen by millions online and millions more on The Howard Stern Show. You get exclusive Patreon access, including this Monday night before Raw. Marty Jannetty gives us a video update on the ankle that he had reconstructed, the first of 2 operations he's going to have to go through. And, of course, most important, beyond all that great content and perks, you help keep Wrestling Legends working. Head on over to patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. As always, if you watch the shows, we still consider you a friend, and there's still plenty of ways you can help without spending a penny. If you enjoy the content, give us a big thumbs up. The thumbs up help let YouTube know you enjoy what's going on here, and they're more apt to share our videos with new fans. Same things if you subscribe to the YouTube channel absolutely free. You get updates and alerts on all of our great videos. Set the notification button so you never forget a new episode coming your way. We just surpassed 20,000 subscribers, and we appreciate each and every one of you. You are all wonderful people. And one thing we could appreciate maybe more than anything, to try and gain even more new eyeballs on what we're doing, share the links. My good friend, the Colonel, Nick Sanders in New York, New York. He lives a block away from Madison Square Garden. He sent me instructions that we thought Socko was going to be able to handle, but he couldn't because his pants are salmon. Maybe, Dave, if we can pry him away from Tinder and the chocolate, maybe he can take on this task to try and help a little bit. But share, folks, across social media, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Share it on Facebook wrestling groups. Share it on websites like Reddit. Share it with wrestling websites, because I tell you this, I have no ego. Maybe I should have more of an ego considering how much the numbers have jumped, but I have none. Maybe I'm a depressed human being and I need more of David Reese. But I realize that there are millions upon millions upon millions of wrestling fans that have no idea that any of these shows exist. But as history has shown over the past 12 months, once new fans do find us, they absolutely love us. I was looking again at the numbers. I'll get more into the particulars next week once the month actually ends, but I mean, it takes a lot to put a smile on this face when I'm here 10, 11 hours a night, especially with some of the creatures, as you call them, Dave, that come in and out of here. But the numbers are growing. If we can keep them growing on the pace we're on now, it would be amazing what we could do a year from now, but that remains to be seen. So I ask you again, even if you don't have a penny to spare in a super chat, just give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, share the link. All right, on to the show. Dave Carter, welcome from wherever you may be in New Hampshire today, or whatever Tinder hookup you may just be finishing up with as we prepare to talk a little SmackDown.
SmackDown last night.
Were you laying the SmackDown on someone from Tinder?
No, I'm not.
Did you make any chocolate, Mel?
No, I didn't do.
All right.
Right, let's get into SmackDown now. So we kicked it off the same way we kicked it off last week. Roman Reigns comes down to the ring with Jey Uso and Paul Heyman. We get a video package of Elimination Chamber match and the outcome after the match between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. Then we get back to the ring, which is Reigns, Heyman, and Jey Uso in the ring. Roman gets on the mic and says SmackDown needs him. He answers the call every single time. That's just what he does. He smashed Daniel Bryan. It was the biggest beatdown of the decade, he said. Anyone else in their shoes would want or need a party after that. But he says he's above that. It wasn't perfect because of one man, Edge. Obviously, he's talking about he got him on that night, meaning how Edge got to spare him. So he tells Edge he doesn't want that, meaning he doesn't want to face him. He doesn't want anything to do with him, to just go home. You have a beautiful family. You're a father and a husband, and he appreciates everything Edge has done to the business and for the business. Doesn't want to hurt him. A man like you doesn't stand a chance against him. Daniel Bryan's music hits, and he comes out and says, it was nearly perfect from his perspective. He totally agrees, but he's basically just making a joke of everything about that. He said basically what he did at Elimination Chamber was cowardly. That's not what a real champion would do. He thought he would defend the belt at the main event of the Elimination Chamber, not the second match in. And pretty much after that, he says, "You want to end it all? Let defend that championship at Fastlane." Jey Uso gets on the mic and says, "You lost. Get in the back of the line." Pretty much. Roman says, "After what I did to you, you want me to hurt you again?" Then Jey Uso attacks Daniel Bryan. Roman leaves the ring laughing. It was a long, drawn-out segment, but I didn't mind it because it was actually pretty good. I like the promo skills between Daniel Bryan and the changes between Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. I thought it was really good. It was long, though. Maybe they could have cut it down a little bit, but I didn't mind it. It wasn't a bad way to open up SmackDown.
No, I thought it was a very good promo. I mean, it's almost turning into something to be expected, like Triple H from 2002 to 2005, where he's going to open the show each week with a promo. But the promo work is good. It's the best work we've seen of Roman. It's the best work we've seen of Jey Uso. Paul Heyman may be a little calmer than when he has to be the center of attention when he cuts Brock Lesnar's promos, but good all around. I knew that the Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns championship matches were coming to pay-per-view. I couldn't have imagined in my wildest dreams it would have been at WrestleMania, so that wasn't a surprise at all. I think the way it played out at Elimination Chamber, I believe I said during the watch-along, was well executed, and it would build to a good Fastlane rematch because you had the logic behind it. Bryan, he went through the motions. He won the chamber. He was exhausted. He was a beaten, injured man. And there came Roman to get that, not fresh meat, but injured meat. So obviously it makes for a logical rematch at Fastlane, one that I think will be very, very good. I think it'll send Roman into WrestleMania hot.
Yeah, absolutely. And you did say that because I remember we discussed it after. From there, we get a backstage segment, which is Sonya and Adam talking backstage. Edge walks over and says, "Daniel Bryan possibly getting a title shot at Fastlane before me. I won the Royal Rumble. We need to talk." I could barely hear him. I literally had to take my DVR and rewind it a few times because I could barely hear it. They had that noise in the background. I don't know if you noticed it or it came across, but that noise in the background, you know how it's like that live noise, like the crowd, but it was just so loud that I couldn't really hear him. And it happened a few times during the SmackDown. Did you notice that, or was it just me?
Now that you mention it, yeah, a little bit. I really didn't care because I really had no interest in the promo because I saw Sonya Deville on the screen, who may not be as bad as Titus O'Neil or Lana, but she's certainly one of the most worthless characters they have in the promotion and needless. But nonetheless, yeah, I think you're right. It was difficult at times. I think maybe the Thunderdome crowd was a little too wild for SmackDown last night.
Right.
They were out of control.
I didn't mind these because they did it a few different times. The only reason why I didn't mind it is because it was a thread throughout the night. And I like how Edge was real serious about it. It wasn't like a jokey thing. Like, he was actually, it was meaningful to him. Like, why would you give him a title shot before? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I didn't mind it that much. Then we come back. We get Jey Uso backstage with Roman. Apologizes to Roman for attacking like that out there. Roman says, "Don't apologize. Just make sure you take care of it." So that was that. We come back. I don't know. You have anything to say about that? Before I don't want to cut you off.
No, it was a fine, segment to continue the little theme and story throughout the show.
Okay. Edge with Adam and Sonya now we get finally because you know how he said he wanted to talk to him.
Yeah. Big business now.
Adam goes, "This match just fell in our laps. If Daniel Bryan paid tonight, then Roman puts the Universal title on the line at Fastlane. It's just a bigger attraction. You know what I'm talking about," is what he says to Edge. And Edge just looks at him and just walks off. So I don't know. It's an ongoing thread. It wasn't bad. I mean, like I said, at least it's building to something. It's a common thread throughout the night. And they're taking it seriously. It's not jokey or hokey like we talk about sometimes. I don't know how you felt about it.
You know me. I like serious when it comes to professional wrestling outside of very few things in moderation. I thought Edge was good tonight. I thought the Edge character had a reason to maybe be a little concerned, a little interested to see what was going to happen with the Universal Championship, where at Elimination Chamber, he declared that not only did he want a crack at the Universal Championship, but implied that he wanted Roman Reigns to be the opponent.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm glad. I didn't know if you were gonna beat me up on that, but I'm glad you kind of like it too. All right.
No, not at all.
From there, we got our first match of the night, which was Dominic and Rey Mysterio versus Otis and Chad Gable. I like the aggression out of Otis. I really do. I'm liking this a little more. I know it's hard to get past that. That's the biggest thing. Is that's what I'm expecting every time I see. But the aggression is nice because this is what you were talking about. This is what he needs to be. What I didn't like is I don't like Dominic getting that much offense on Chad Gable. Chad Gable can work the ring, work circles around him, and Dominic was making him look like he was the veteran. I didn't like that. I don't like a lot that Dominic's doing right now because, like we talked about, Dominic should be in the PC training, getting a bigger body, because you know what I mean. He just looks like a twig running back and forth. And he looks like a little kid. Yeah. I don't like it. And the bodysuit, come on. He, at that age,
there's a reason why he's wearing the bodysuit.
Yeah, at that age,
you have a body, you're not going to be wearing that.
Right. At that age, you shouldn't have to wear a bodysuit. What, he's 20 years old? Like, come on. Otis does the big frog splash to Rey from the second rope, gets the pinfall. I dug that because I like that he's finally getting some wins. Because if this is a way to get out of that character that you're doing, I hope it can persuade me to forget about that character that you're doing and make him be the aggression, maybe a heel Otis that would actually be believable. What did you
heel Otis? Well, the problem is, again, Otis has been treated like a complete and utter fucking imbecile for 2 years. So it's going to take a while for fans to take to this new aggressive Otis, which I liked. It's going to take a while for them to get used to him. It's the same thing with Chad Gable. As a great athlete as he is, he's had tremendous tag team success in matches, whether he was paired with Jason Jordan or Shelton or Bobby Roode, and then they turned him into an imbecile as Shorty G. And now all of a sudden, now it's time to take them seriously, guys, after a couple of years of them being fucking morons. It's not how fans are going to react to it. I think it's good, the material presented last night, but that doesn't ex-nay the past couple of years.
Right.
And exactly. I'll tell you this, I was shocked that Rey took the pin from Otis.
Well, I should have said that because I did too last night. I said the same thing, but I didn't write it. I should have said that too because I was too. I was like, wow. From there, this is probably, I don't know how this, I can't wait to hear your opinion on this. We got Apollo Crews in the ring, puts a green and white like scarf thing around his neck. Why the sudden change pretty much is what he says. You don't really know anything about me, he tells the people, us at home. For far too long, I've been too nice. Haven't gotten what I deserve. How long I couldn't even figure it out. I was trying to think. How long has Apollo Crews been in WWE? Like up in the main roster? A couple of years, right?
I believe it was the weekend of WrestleMania 33.
Okay,
so you're talking 4 years at this point.
4 years. So wow. So 4 years, he's pretty much been a joke. He goes, I'm not from the hood. I'm from Nigeria. I'm a real African American. I almost died when he said that. I'm sorry. This is what I am. This is what I stand for. Dominance and power. Big E found out firsthand last week. Big E will never cross him again after what happened to him. And then you notice he started speaking like in that Nigerian accent.
Yes, most wrestlers, they lose the accents as time goes on, like Crush and Kofi and people like that. But it appears that Apollo is gaining an accent all of a sudden.
That was the segment before the match. I want to know what you thought of that because I didn't expect any of that.
I have to say, it's better than the nothing they've done with him for the past 4 years. I like the fact that they turned him heel. I like that they've, tried to give him a little bit of a fresh coat of paint with the new tights as opposed to the, well, they're all tights, I guess, but you know what I mean. Long tights as opposed to short tights. The Alberto Del Rio Nigerian scarf that he had on, and, they attempted to do something with it, which, again, is better than nothing. I thought the promo was well delivered. I thought the accent was a little odd, but what are you going to do? It could have been a lot worse.
Well, that's what I put. It seems like they have new life in him because he's actually getting storyline and like maybe a little story segment going on now between him and Big E, which is, whatever.
I'll say this. I was impressed that his grandfather had about as many women as you do on a weekend. 5 wives.
5 wives. I didn't
Yeah.
even write it because I knew we were going to go there. We got Apollo versus Shinsuke Nakamura after his little promo segment. Apollo attacks Nakamura before the match. I put. I thought it was a pretty good match. I think where he grabbed the stairs, they went to a commercial break. So you never see what happened with that. He just grabbed the stairs. You got the ref like this, putting his hands up, and then they go to commercial break. Then they come back, and the match is going on again. I think that was a bad spot for the commercial break. That's how I felt, at least. They worked good, solid. They were solid together. I think the match was solid. I think both of them, because we've seen it how many times these last few weeks or months, I should say.
Not the first rodeo.
Exactly. Apollo Crews got the win by pinfall. I don't know. I think I like him getting wins, and like we said, it's a change to his character. So I like that. I hope it leads to something. I hope it's not this little feud that he's having with Big E and Shinsuke, and then wash your hands with it and he's done again. So what'd you think of the match?
I thought the match was all right. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it at all. I thought the right guy went over, even if Nakamura just a couple of years ago was in one of the WrestleMania main events. Talk about how the mighty have fallen, where he's now doing middle of the show jobs to Apollo Crews. But you know what? I like the more aggressive side of Crews. I like him better as a heel. He's a well-spoken guy, even with this unique accent that he has developed. I wonder what the thought process is for Nakamura at this point, to have him going over or be losing clean to a guy that was an undercard enhancement talent almost for 4 years. But you know what? I thought all around for the match itself, it was easy to watch.
Right on. Yeah, I can't disagree. From there, like this right here, just it was kind of weird. It was Roman shown backstage. Paul goes into his ear and says they made it official that if Daniel Bryan wins tonight, he will face at Fastlane. But what I was thinking is they made that official like 10 minutes into the show. He didn't know until almost the 9 o'clock hour.
So I don't know if it was official.
Well, it was because they put the thing on the TV screen. Like, you know how they do like
well,
the
maybe
little.
They didn't have a monitor in their locker room. I don't know.
You know what? I didn't think of that. I just assumed there was. You're right. I shouldn't assume. But yeah, so that's what happened there. Anything to say about it?
No. It was a nice little continuation of the storyline for the show.
Right. Okay. We got a match there. We got Tamina with Natty, Liv Morgan with Ruby. God damn, you make me laugh every time. I put it was a decent match. Tamina is actually pretty good. She's getting better.
At 45 years old, she's really improving.
No, let me finish. She used to be good, and then she gained all that weight, and she got hurt, and she couldn't really move, but she's starting to move again in the ring a little bit. So I'm hoping she's getting back to where she was when she first started out in WWE. Tamina is very dominant too now, so I like it. I don't mind her. I don't mind the match either. I think Liv Morgan's one of the better women they have on the.
Oh!
I don't think she's as bad as you think she is. I mean, but you don't have to have the same opinion. That's why this show gets fun when we disagree. I think Ruby's good. I don't think Liv Morgan and Ruby. I think they're a better tag team, honestly, than singles because they need more tag teams because that's like a real tag team because they were in the Riot Squad together.
They just need tag teams.
Well, that too. Like I said, I thought Tamina was dominant in the match. I didn't mind it. What about you? I know what you're going to already say. So
I think Natalya has probably taken Big Show's spot as far as who has turned the most times this century in WWE.
That's true.
Tamina, I was impressed. She is morphed from the 1996 Undertaker outfit to the more slimmer 1997 Undertaker outfit. But you're right. She was more aggressive than she had been recently. It appears she is in better physical condition, but the match sucked. It's nothing that I want to see. Hopefully it builds to something that's going to be done off camera or on Main Event or one of those other shows that I don't see. Not for me. But you know what? If they're going to do it, I feel like it was an improvement on Tamina's behalf. I don't know why they keep turning Natalya over and over and over and over and over again, but no one really cares, I guess, at the end of the day, which is too bad.
Yeah, I get you. From there, we got Pearson Sonya in the ring. Belair is going to make her decision on who she's going to face at WrestleMania. Sonya's just gone. She names how long it's been since she's won the Royal Rumble. And then Sonya asks her who it's going to be. So then after that, they play videos of Sasha, and then they play videos of Asuka, like packages of both of them. Belair gets on the mic and says, Mama always says choices matter. I couldn't. I'm sorry. Matter. I don't know how you felt about it. Reginald interrupts and he says, you don't want to choose Sasha pretty much. Basically you've already faced her and nothing will come of it, but you'll be a loser. And Sasha comes out, didn't I tell you never to speak for me? She is the standard, Sasha says. If you want to make history, you would choose me. I'm number one, which makes you second best. Bianca selects Sasha, a big pyro display after. I didn't want to get into everything she said because I just don't think we need to talk about everything. But that was pretty much the sum of it. I just thought the mama thing, his choices matter, that popped me huge. I thought I was laughing about that. I will say, Sasha is gorgeous and Bianca is too, man. They're two beautiful women.
Well, I'm not surprised that comment comes from you, sir.
You really don't think they're both good-looking women?
I think Sasha's really pretty. Bianca's
You don't think Bianca is?
She's not bad.
All right. Well, you know what? That's better than I thought you'd say, so I'm happy with that. I'll take that. Go ahead. Sorry to cut you off.
No, I thought this whole segment sucked. It was too long. It was, one thing I hate is, the Empress of Tomorrow. Who the fuck has ever called Asuka the Empress of Tomorrow? I mean, you used to have little nicknames for guys. The Texas Rattlesnake, the Brahma Bull. Cool little nicknames. Now it seems like everybody on the roster has to have a little second name to go along with their wrestling name, and most of them are no good. I hate, just because of the way Michael Cole says it, I hate it. But, I mean, has anyone ever called Asuka the Empress of Tomorrow? Out of curiosity. Have you ever been to a show where you heard someone say, I can't wait to see the Empress of Tomorrow, please? And, to show how important this big WrestleMania announcement was, Asuka didn't even bother to show up.
Right, that's what. You know what? And I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, why wouldn't Asuka come out too, just so she could defend herself?
Asuka really didn't care.
Yeah, sometimes I think WWE's like that. They forget the whole thing, the whole story. If you're gonna mention her, shouldn't she be out there for it? She could pick her, because you've already given us basically she's selecting Sasha. Then because if Asuka's not there, it just didn't make any sense. Like they didn't think the whole thing through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and I thought Sasha, when she did come out, she was a little heelish. Sasha's another one known to turn several times a year when she's not out injured, but I just thought it was two lousy women's segments in a row. Sasha was quick to go on Twitter and talk about how she's main eventing WrestleMania this year. And it makes me sick. That's what she's putting out there. I mean, come on. Do they think anyone really wants to see that match? I mean, I don't know what the complete lineup is, but I mean, at least when you had the unfortunate WrestleMania that did end with the women's match, at least it was with three women that were relatively over, not one that's a newcomer and one that's, been injured half of their WWE career. But one man's opinion.
No, you're right. And then we got another promo, which was Sammy and Corbin backstage. Corbin doesn't like the documentary crew. Why would you want this tag team? Sammy says, because they both could use a win. They both could become tag team champions if they work together. Could be the new Cam-Man connection. I thought you would like that, so that's why I put that in there. Corbin tells Sammy to never tell me what to do. Be a professional.
I just don't see any chemistry between the two of them, or the need for it, other than the fact they have no tag teams.
There you go. We got the match after, which was Street Profits versus King Corbin and Sami Zayn. It was a good match. I didn't mind it. It was fine. Corbin doesn't like being filmed. That's what he kept. That was the ongoing thread throughout the night of the match. He just kept on saying, "Stop filming me." Montez Ford, this is where I put it. That fly over Sami Zayn was unreal. He's got some ups. He's very athletic. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen that, right?
Yeah. That's about all he has,
But if he could get it together and just put it all together, man, he could be a real,
he could actually learn how to wrestle. Yeah, I mean, all that athletic stuff he does would be tremendous.
If he get the whole thing together, man, he would be, up there. Street Profits won by pinfall. I don't know. Like I said, the match was all right. Pretty good.
It's just same old shit. I mean, Sami
Yeah.
Zayn to me is awful. I hate his look. I hate his promos. I hate his character. I hate everything about Sami Zayn. The Street Profits, you have one that's a fantastic athlete that looks like he weighs about 80 pounds, and you have another one that gets blown up doing those big twirly splashes from post to post, out of breath before he hits them. I mean, I guess if you could take the best of Dawkins and the best of Montez Ford, you'd have one pretty good wrestler, but it wasn't for me. I guess the right team won. Just kind of a waste that they can't come up with something better for Baron Corbin than this.
Right on. Then we get Kayla backstage with Daniel Bryan. I actually really like this segment. Talks about the match tonight. He thinks he has a better chance of beating Roman than Edge does. Edge could be a little rusty, but then Edge walks over and says, "Who wins between them two?" And Daniel Bryan says, "Well, I'll keep that to myself." I liked it a lot because like we've been talking about, it's an ongoing thread. Edge has been showing up where he needs to, but I did like this because it's true. Who would win? And he didn't want to tell him, I kind of like that. And honestly, if that was to be the match, because it makes a common nut us. Obviously, we know that's not going to be the match at WrestleMania, but fans could think that could be a potential match, and that's really could be a really good match at main event WrestleMania as well. A lot of people would want to see that. What did you think of the segment?
I thought it was good enough. Why not throw the tease out there that it could potentially happen, as opposed to just blatantly throwing it in people's faces that it has no chance of happening?
Right, and that's exactly what I'm saying. From there, we got Seth Rollins come down to the ring. He has huge news because the letter he wrote was a hit. It went through all the WWE officials, and they totally agree with him. Cesaro interrupts, comes right to the ring. Seth says, "Give me a chance to make this right." He says, "You were a loser for the situation you were in. I'm not calling you a loser. Stay right there in the center of the ring. You're a star. Who says you can't grab that brass ring? You're strong and you're gifted, and you're probably the strongest in the WWE history. Why is it you always seem to come up short, though?" Seth has it, and Seth knows. He says he has it, and it's called Killer Instinct, and I can give it to you. Let me lead you. And I'm thinking to myself, honestly, that wouldn't be bad. I actually wouldn't mind seeing Seth with Cesaro. Like, maybe Seth as like not a manager type, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Almost that other guy like Miz and Morrison, but actually a good team together. Because, like we said, Cesaro's pretty good.
Well, I mean, look at everything Seth did for the careers of Buddy Murphy and AOP. I mean, he's just
he's the great leader. He wants to give that to him, pretty much, is working side by side on SmackDown. They would be unstoppable, he says. Embrace the vision. Let me lead you, he says. He grabs, and then right after that, he grabs Seth by the legs and just does the Cesaro swing. God damn, I was getting dizzy watching it on TV. He must have done that for a good minute.
And he didn't let go of the microphone, which I thought was impressive.
Right? And I mean, I don't know how Seth even stood up. And he stood up and he got the uppercut, and then Cesaro left the ring. But I was blown away how long he did the actual swing for. It was unbelievable.
I have to say this, and people may be surprised considering how much I hate the Monday Night Messiah or whatever night of the week Messiah he is, but I thought it was probably the best Seth Rollins promo in a couple of years right now. He actually acted like he was alive and had a pulse. And had a rhyme and reason for being out there. I joked a minute ago about what a career killer he was almost for Buddy Murphy and AOP and everyone else attached to that garbage. But I thought this promo, at least for one night, I thought it was spot on. I thought it was executed very well.
Right on. From there, we got the main event, which was Daniel Bryan versus Jey Uso. It was hard-hitting, great match. Daniel Bryan really selling the knee, which I liked, because a lot of wrestlers don't sell body parts, but he was selling his knee, which was really good. I put Jey Uso is surprisingly a really good singles wrestler, and I think we've established that by doing these shows, but I just had to put it out there again because you watch him work. A lot of time, they're only good as a tag team, because they can hide what they can't do and they can do. But I think he did a good job as a singles wrestler, and he has been doing it. It ends in a double count-out. Daniel Bryan gets Jey in the yes lock. Roman comes out and attacks Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan starts fighting back, gets Reigns in the yes lock for a few seconds before Jey interrupts that. Roman gets a spear on Daniel Bryan and then leaves him laying. Roman's holding up the WWE champion, Universal Championship in the air, looking down at Daniel Bryan. I thought it was a decent match. The ending, I didn't expect it to end like that. I don't know what they're gonna do with that now. Obviously, it's probably going to lead to still the match at Fastlane, but at least it leads to another week of what's going to happen next.
Yeah, that's the exact way I would look at it. I would expect there to be another Bryan and Uso match next week, and that's not a bad thing. I thought the match itself was excellent. They actually utilized the count out for a finish as opposed to just using it as a cue to go to a commercial break and eliminating that as a potential finish. I like that an awful lot. I like the match itself a great deal. I thought it was a very strong main event. And makes me want to see what's going to happen next, which is a good thing, which is not always the case as a WWE TV show goes off the air, as we've seen.
Right on. My grade of the show, I thought it was a lot of promo, but I didn't mind the show at all. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
We, sir, have officially tied. I gave it a 7 out of 10, and I tell you this, if they could have eliminated the shit in the middle with the 2 lousy women's segments in the Street Profits match, I may have given it an 8. The stuff on this show this week that was good was really good. The opening promo might have been a little bit long, but it was for a reason. It was to build up shenanigans around a pay-per-view main event. Otis and Gable may have been treated like 2 fucking imbeciles, but you know what? They weren't treated like 2 fucking imbeciles last night. I like Apollo Crews' new look, and he gave him a win, clean win over a very credible opponent. You had some great backstage segments, which I usually don't like, between Edge and Bryan. Seth Rollins verbally was the best he's been in a couple of years as far as showing some life with Cesaro. And again, you had a really good main event that left you wondering what was going to happen next. If you could have eliminated that dog shit in the middle, I would have given that an 8.
Yes, sir. That's pretty different. We never agree on
I think that's our first tie.
Ever.
As far as I can remember. I don't know. I could be wrong.
And the only news note I had that was worth talking about was Conor McGregor pretty much and Finn Balor going back and forth on the Twitter. Basically, I'm honestly thinking Conor's in for something with WWE because Triple H even retweeted and said, whenever you're ready, say it. So, I don't know. I think that would be huge for WWE, a huge get for them. I don't know if it'd be a match or something, but I think it would be a huge get for Conor McGregor to step foot in WWE. You don't think so? Because we were just talking about.
You know what? If you maybe if he was a big,
think about that. Because we were just talking about how Shaq wouldn't move the needle and Mike Tyson wouldn't. You don't think Conor McGregor would though? He's not someone that you would put that could. Because we talked about guys that wouldn't right now. And when we were trying to name people, wasn't one.
What would you do with him?
Do exactly what they're trying to do. Start a little beef. You put Shane and
McGregor and Finn Balor. Come on, yeah. I don't really see much appeal, and I think the world of Finn. I just don't see much appeal in that match.
See, I think so. I do because they're both like that Ireland, accent.
Well, if they want to go rent a baseball stadium over in Ireland and have it over there, it would probably do big business.
I think you're I think you're missing the boat on this. I think you're cutting it short.
I think Conor McGregor would be great. I just don't think Finn Balor would be the guy I would put him with.
Really?
Not by any stretch. And you know how much I think of Finn.
You're not going to put him in with Roman. Wouldn't make sense. You wouldn't put him in with Drew. That don't make any sense. Those guys are too big. The visual wouldn't look right. It's got to be someone like Finn. And Finn's, like we were just talking about, he's the main event on NXT, and he's been on the main roster, so why wouldn't you?
I just don't think he's over enough for the spot.
If he's the demon, I think so. A lot of people love the demon.
I think that, and I agree with you. I think a lot of people love the demon character too. But I think that would almost turn it into too much of a cartoon.
See, I think I don't know.
I'd have to give this one some thought. I'd say, maybe who the first person that popped into my head was, and it's nothing against Finn's work, as I like Finn much, much more personally and from a wrestling point of view, but maybe Bryan.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? That's not too bad. I don't know.
I just can't see Finn.
I can only because he's been there before. He's been on the main roster, and if this is a way, to add something to Finn's repertoire to like put him back on the main roster or whatever, and if he's going to be the demon, if he's regular Finn Balor, then no, probably not. But if he's the demon Finn Balor, I think people would buy into that a little because I know fans love that, and I just think.
How tall of a guy is he?
Who, Conor?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll look it up real quick.
I mean, he's pretty small, is he not?
McGregor. Let me see real quick. I'll tell you right now. He is he's 5'9".
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying the visual would look all right. I don't see much. My thing is that either way, because we were talking about what would move the needle. We didn't even say his name, but he would. I think he really would, honestly.
I think it would generate interest, but I'm just trying to think of how you could deliver a match that would knock people's socks off, or at least the build-up for it would be. I'd imagine he'd get a heel reaction after the initial pop that he'd get when they bring him in, but
Depending on how
I
he
have
cut
to
his
give this
promo
one
at
some
that.
thought. Yeah, I did see something on social media that there was some exchanges between
Yeah, I
those
didn't
people.
actually look at. I looked at the tweets back then, but I didn't put them out. I figured we didn't need to discuss the tweets and everything. But I just wanted to basically just talk about that real quick. What you thought, because I thought it was funny when we were talking about I think maybe an episode or two past in one of the reviews for the AEW stuff, who would move the needle, and we never said him. But now that they brought Connor up, I think that could move the needle a little bit. That's actually relevant because Shaq's really not relevant.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right with the statement you're making right now. I also wonder, as I'm sitting here thinking right now, why would would it help McGregor? I mean, look at the money he gets from UFC and the money that he gets when he did that boxing match with Money Mayweather. Yeah, I know WWE has money to spend, but I mean, for what he's made and some of his other endeavors in the world of fighting and MMA, I don't know how it helps him necessarily.
It could be just, how a lot of these celebrities want to come and have a lifelong dream, like Bad Bunny and people like that. So maybe it's just filling off dream of his to be in a WWE ring sometime, and maybe this is a short way to get him in. I don't know.
Do you know if he is a lifelong, as I don't, if he's a lifelong fan or something like that?
I know he's been a fan because his walk is Vince McMahon's walk. He got that from him because he used to love Vince McMahon character. You know how Vince Ward does his walk? That's how Connor does his walk in the cage and everything. And he's even said it's from Vince McMahon because he's a big fan of the WWE. I don't know how long that's been. I don't know if it's just been between the Attitude Era now or if he's been before then or what. But I just know that much of it. I've never really heard him talk about his fandom of WWE. He's only 32 years old, so I'm guessing he's not, he's probably Attitude Era watched maybe the end of it or whatever into now.
Well, it's interesting. I had a conversation with someone maybe a month or two ago. That's maybe, I don't know if he had a fight. I'm not a huge UFC aficionado, as you know, but his name came up and they said, "Oh, he's an asshole." Blah 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 blah. So you know what? That's the exact reaction he's looking for. He's not a dumb man. I mean, he's going to play up that personality because using that personality, he went from being a good UFC fighter to becoming someone that is at least a household name in certain male demographics. If not,
Absolutely.
I don't know if I would call him a household name in general, but I mean, to most men, if you ask them between the ages of 10 and 50, would know who Conor McGregor is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally agree with that. That's why I think if WWE was to do anything with him, I don't know if it would be this year WrestleMania, but I think in coming WrestleManias, I think he would definitely be a good name because obviously, if you put it this, what were you going to say?
No, what's his status with UFC? Does he have any more fights?
Yeah, he still has fights. He just had a fight. He lost to Dustin Poirier, but
that's right. Yeah. Oh no, yeah, right. That just happened.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm guessing he could probably. I don't know if UFC would even let him go to WWE right now to do anything.
And now you have the not UFC, the ESPN dynamic in it, where they are the exclusive pay-per-view provider for the UFC pay-per-view events. Would you, if you're ESPN, would you want Conor McGregor in bed with WWE right now? I say the answer to that is no.
No, because of WWE not being with ESPN anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's another thing. Why the hell did WWE want to get out of bed with ESPN?
I just think it was more along the lines of ESPN, ownership isn't the right word, but, they're the official platform of a very similar presentation. Why promote something that some people look at in the same boat, so to speak? I can understand ESPN not wanting to do that. I could understand one of the NBC properties not wanting to promote UFC as a result. Is the same thing where they are exclusively on a Disney property on ESPN.
Which is true. Yeah, okay. I was just looking at it like that, but yeah, that's true. But that's all I got for news and notes. I thought that was a pretty good one to talk about for a little bit.
All right, wrestling fans, if you are watching the premiere on Saturday night, let us know what you thought of the February 26th, 2021 edition of WWE SmackDown in the little premiere chat. Or if you're not listening to us during the premiere, in the comments section below, don't forget at the top of the hour, fans, it is nearly 4 hours of great Saturday night fun. I am joined in studio by special co-host, the man that's been rocking since he came out of the womb, Marty Jannetty. A lot of original Marty content tonight, along with all 4 of our Wrestling Insider in-studio shoot interviews this week with Mr. USA Tony Atlas, Nasty Boys Brian Knobbs, Marty Jannetty, of course, and the interview last night with John Cena Sr., where he ran amok on his different thoughts about AEW. So it's almost like the good old days of Saturday night's main event on NBC, only we don't have the wrestling, we just have the memories, we just have the legends, baby. But from 10 until almost 2 a.m., we got some great wrestling talk coming your way.
You know what? I do, if it's not too late, I do have one more thing.
One more thing. All right.
Yeah, you know Rick Steiner's son? He actually is signed to the WWE PC too. Bronson, I thought that was pretty cool.
I had heard about that. I guess he's a hell of an athlete.
Yeah, oh my God, he's a beast.
I don't know how tall he is, but...
He was unrestricted free agent signing by the Ravens, but he didn't make the team obviously. But yeah, he was a fullback at Kennesaw State. He's in shape too. That's what I like. He's built. He looks good. But I just want to throw that out too because I forgot about that earlier in the week to tell you about that. Well, and also,
if size-wise, if he's up there with his father and his uncle, that could be a great signing, at least on paper.
John Morrison's wife, Taya Valkyrie, also came signed as well.
That's a huge addition.
I know you were going to say that. He's 6 feet tall. I just looked it up.
All right. Well, in this day and age, that's pretty big.
But sorry to interrupt you. I just
not at all. Not at all. Those are newsworthy notes to toss in there as we wrap up tonight's show. Again, fans, we remind you, Saturday night, there's not much to do in these coronavirus times, but that eBay store, baby, it's open 24/7. We got some great merchandise from stars of every era. Never mind those great T-shirt bundles that we offer direct from WWE Shop. And along with that, the Patreon streaming service at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. You get the early ad-free access to all 4 of our Wrestling Insider in-studio shoots each week. You get access to the studio shoot interview DVD library that's been seen by millions online, millions more on The Howard Stern Show. You get some great Patreon exclusive access. Like this coming Monday, we have a Patreon exclusive video where Marty Jannetty discusses the rehab in the reconstructive ankle surgery that he's gone through. And again, you have the knowledge knowing that you're helping keep wrestling legends working. There's nothing better than that in this humble man's opinion. It's cheaper than a coffee over at Starbucks, and you can find it at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. For a man that I'm sure he wouldn't turn down even a little chocolate treat at Starbucks. Dave Carter, I'm Dan Mirade. We will be back with our next TV review program Tuesday night at 9 p.m. when we break down Monday Night Raw, followed by Tony Atlas at 10 p.m. What a Tuesday night doubleheader it's going to be. And again, folks, don't forget, at 10 p.m. tonight, it's Wrestling Insiders Week in Review with my co-host, almost like Saturday Night Live, Marty Jannetty. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll see you at the top of the hour, folks. The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Omaha Civic Center in Omaha, Nebraska, Tuesday, February the 27th, 1990. In the opening contest, Hillbilly Jim beat Frenchie Martin. Earthquake with the win over Rugged Ronnie Garvin. The Red Rooster defeated Al Perez. WWF Tag Team Champions, the Colossal Connection, retained the titles over Demolition via countout. Jim the Anvil Neidhart with the win over Black Bart. Hercules beat Akeem via disqualification. And in the main event, the WWF Intercontinental Champion, the Ultimate Warrior, retained the title over Dino Bravo. If you were in Omaha live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep wrestling legends working in our eBay store and on our acclaimed Patreon streaming service so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston wrestling sports in the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's No Holds Barred Sex, Drugs, and Rock and Roll Journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Expect the unexpected in 2021.